right, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Love and Color. This is our Love and Pride edition. And today in the studio, as always, it's Eli alongside
Dr. Katrina. Peace and blessings, folks.
And today we are blessed to have a guest host with us.
Hello, everyone. Me, Mook.
All right. So for tea time, I just wanted to tell y'all how I met the lovely Miss Mook here. I was networking on one of the apps. And I ran across her boss, who is with I'll let her talk about the organization, but I ran into her boss and was telling him about the podcast and asking if there was anybody from this organization that might be interested in guest hosting, and he put me in contact with Miss Mook here, and she called me, and I thought her voice was sounding, a certain type of way, kind of sexy like. So I immediately got on the staff directory and scroll. Okay. The voice and the face match.
Thank you.
I was really keen to meet and have her in the recording studio, and then later on that day we went to a happy hour put on by Pacific Northwest Black Pride, and remind me, what was the restaurant called? Poco, that's right, it was. Yes. Poco. And it's a Black-owned business, and it was crowded with community I had never seen before. It was a really good vibe. I had a great time talking with Mijor, and even though we waited 40 minutes for a cocktail, when it came, the cocktail was wonderful, but the conversation kept me going in the meantime.
Right on.
Definitely good conversation.
Yeah. So tell me, tell us about you and the organization that you work with and all the things.
Of course. So first and foremost, I am a Black trans woman, and I work for a nonprofit organization called POCAN. We're a health equity community organization. We have 12 different programs. There, my role is I'm a transgender economic empowerment coordinator. So I focus on policy changes, legislations, and different highlighted visibility around trans lived experiences and struggles and challenges that we face. Trying to break barriers is the most challenging thing, but I'm excited to be a part of community and be Black in the community and representing for my trans community.
All right. Yes. Strong work.
Yes, it is.
And you are not from here, is that right?
I'm not. I'm from Sandy City, Utah.
Right.
Mormon capital. I'm not a Mormon, but
They're not ready for all that.
Look, I won't turn them down when they knock on my door, but
Nice. All right. So how long have you been out here in the Pacific Northwest?
I've been in Pacific Northwest. It'll be 4 years, October 19th.
All right.
So I'm still a baby here.
What do you think so far?
It's very diverse. To me, it's very diverse. It is very liberated. For not necessarily, I wouldn't say people of color, but we are making our way here. Slowly but surely, we are making a stronger impact in the Black community, in the Black queer community, in the Black trans community. We are making a stronger impact and trying to get recognized. But I will say I do love it. Outside of the rain, unfortunately, people do know that I'm not from here because I still carry an umbrella. I know, sadly.
That will give you away.
I have backup umbrellas because I forget about an umbrella because the weather here changes all the time.
That's why we don't mess with umbrellas.
Yeah. But you got to have one. I don't
wear
know.
layers.
Yeah. I'm learning.
It's all about the hood. You flip it up, put it back down.
It's all about the hood. I've seen somebody in flip-flops walking in the rain.
Yes.
I was just like, okay. This is the thing here. People are used to it.
They are.
So I'm trying to catch on the wave, but
All right. Well, we are glad that you are both here in the Pacific Northwest and here in the studio with us today.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah. So, like I said, this is an episode of our Love and Pride series in honor of Pride Month, which here in the States and actually all over the world is celebrated in June. And I don't know, do folks know why it's celebrated in June?
Well, from my perspective of why it's celebrated, because we've been trying to make a way for many years. We've been marginalized and oppressed, just being Black and on top of being queer, and trying to live our lives every day. It's been hard. Trying to get we have been getting a lot of pushback for many years. We've been murdered. We've been raped, we've been abused, verbally and physically. And so we're tired, and we're representing for our community, and we're standing up for what's right, for what's ours, and we're taking back our right and our voice as human people living an experience outside of different races and genders. So
that is all real, and that's all very true. And so my question, though, was why in June in particular?
I'm guessing Stonewall.
And that is correct,
Okay.
Dr. Katrina.
All right.
And, I mean, of course, all of the things that that Major was saying led up to Stonewall. And that was, I mean, how many decades ago, right? And we're still in that same struggle. But
I love a good uprising, though.
shout out to Marsha P. Johnson.
All right.
and I'm so glad she's finally getting the shine
She is getting recognized, yes.
that she deserves.
She deserves it, for sure.
So, Stonewall, I think most of us listening should know this story by now, but it bears a brief retelling. It's so good.
Yep.
So much good drama. You can always count on the queens for that. So, picture this. New York, a hot summer, sticky summer night in 1969, the summer of love, political agitation, the Vietnam War is raging.
I love the storytelling in this film. Keep it up.
And in a little bar in the Village, a group of queer people gathered to just have an evening, connect with some friends, maybe get some tail, who knows, right? Probably the same things motivating us to go out today were motivating them that hot, sticky summer night.
For sure.
But unfortunately for them, it was 1969, and masquerading, which is dressing in clothing of the quote-unquote opposite gender, was a crime.
Masquerading?
Masquerading is what it was called. Yeah. It was a crime, and also being homosexual and homosexual acts, heavy air quotes here, was also considered a crime. And it was hard for establishments that were catering to the queer community to get liquor licenses. So this place was raided ostensibly because of a lack of a liquor license and proper papers, but really it was just the New York City police department's just very thinly veiled attempt at harassing the queer community and also making money, because there were bribes that were given in exchange for turning a blind eye. So anyhow, this was just another routine shakedown, but everybody had just kind of had enough, right? And they were done. It was too hot for all this. People just wanted to have a good time. People were sweating out their edges, upset.
The Jerry curls.
Right? I think it might have been pre-Jerry curl. Might have been pre that.
Right.
But whatever it was, they were sweating it out.
Right.
And then the cops turn up. And I think it might have actually been the second night of raids. It might have been the second night. And so maybe tensions were a little bit high after the first night. And then there was quite a bit of pushback, and there's some debate about who threw the first brick or bottle or stone or whatever it was. Some folks say it was Marsha P. Johnson. Other folks say it was another trans woman of color by the name of Sylvia Rivera. Marsha P. Johnson subsequently, in an interview like 20 years after the fact, said that she showed up to the uprising while it was in full swing, so it could not have been her that threw the first bottle. But we'll never know. It was before smartphones.